Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the UR pod usage rate. I'm Jamie. I'm the coach of the Cashews. This is
James, coach of Zinger Stackers.
And who else?
And this is Baz, coach of the Clint Stein Daddies.
How you looking this week, mate?
Probably the worst team in Tasmania.
Well, can I just go off the projected score? Can I just share that with the listeners, or do I have to go with what I actually did score so far?
Well, for the listeners, we are doing this prior to the Melbourne-Perth game, so we'll go with what you're currently sitting on.
I'm currently sitting on 307 with Travers on the field.
And no
Saar on the bench as well.
Yeah, it won't be too bad then.
You'll be better than me, mate. I'm on 269 at the moment. I've got Pinder to play and Saar, Golding and Travers on the bench.
Is Pinder your captain?
No.
Oh,
I'll get to 330, I reckon.
I'm on 408, and I've still got Travers to play half his score, and I've got Ben Henschel sitting there too, but he probably won't do anything. So I'm looking to go pretty big this week.
Yeah, you'll be sitting in a real nice spot, mate.
Yeah.
Let's have a really quick look over the games. We won't do this as quite as long as last week, but we'll start off with Brisbane and South East Melbourne. Derek, you got Brisbane players?
Yeah, I was really happy with the start of the week. This game really set me up, actually. I had Norton, I had Tyrell Harrison. Tyrell Harrison was on my bench, but Norton was a starter. Then I had Josh Bannon as well, so he doubled, so that was handy. And then I also had Alan Williams as captain. So he didn't start awfully well in his first game, but he had a big setup. So, good for me that game. Got me off to a flyer.
Yeah, real good start. How did you look after that first one, Baz?
Not too bad. As well, you and I had a bit of a phone call on Thursday night, which was when I was panic stations and the house was burning down around me. But I ended up with Bannon, so he was my main one, and the Mitch Norton pick was a really good one as well. He was probably only one assist shy of the double, which meant that he could add a ripping score on that Thursday night. And I didn't end up going with Alan Williams because I would have had to trade the house down to get him. But I was kind of Pardon?
You were going to get Junior Madut to be able to get him.
Yeah, I know. That's mate. That was where I was in shambles, so I couldn't do it. He even found out. He still played 20 minutes and he still got 27. So I'll try and get him next week without bringing him Junior Madut.
I said on an earlier episode, Mitch Norton was my biggest mistake of the year. In more words than that, but to summarise it, I said I was frustrated with the trade because it was when Shannon Scott was still playing. The only reason I downgraded is so I could upgrade and bring in more points, and it really bit me in the arse one week. Super temper. Yeah. I didn't even do the pod because I had a tantrum last week after my team went down 100 spots. So, but it's turned out to actually be not too bad of a trade since this injury's happened.
Absolutely kissed on the deal.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Wasn't like you with Baines. You brought in Baines and then he got suspended for 5 weeks.
I brought in Baines and you brought in Harrison, who was his backup, and Baines, he tried to fucking kill someone.
But Harrison wasn't actually going terrible. Let's be real. He's been absolutely.
Did you expect him to do what he has done?
He's now at the stage where I can upgrade him to nearly whoever the fuck in that category I want. Pinder, anyone. I can he's done more than up 40.
Yes. Yeah.
So how can you complain about that?
Yeah. In that game, I had Bannon. I was pretty happy to be able to get him this week after he ruined me last week. And then I had Will Cummings as well, who's I held on to just for this double.
And he played a single.
Yeah, but we'll get to that a bit later on. I'll talk about Will Cummings and the South East Melbourne medical staff and the NBL injury reports. I'm real stoked about it. On the Friday, New Zealand beat Cairns by 10. The two teams come back from the States. Do you have anyone there, Cam?
No, I only had I traded in Wardenberg, so I had him and he was okay for a 20. And I had Clintman as well, who's just doing enough at the moment to kind of keep that price going. And obviously I would have had Patrick Miller play, but he was injured. And I, along with everyone else, had PJC playing and slapped the captaincy on him. And yeah, he struggled a little bit with the fouls again, which was a bit annoying. But yeah, all in all, that was what I had from that game. So yeah, not too bad. How about yourselves?
Yeah, I was pretty similar to you. I had the captain on PJC. A little bit frustrated with the fouls at the moment. Wardenberg seems pretty solid for a 20, no matter how he gets them, apart from getting hit in the nuts in the second game. And Clintman, I started over Bannon just because of the who they were going up against. So, and that's kind of bit me on the arse a little bit, but you got to live with those ones. Anyone for you, Derry, in that one?
I had Bobby Clintman was one of the most frustrating 21s I've ever watched. Played very, very well, but just turned it over so many times. It was just, and they were just shit turnovers too. Like they were frustrating to watch. So, I wasn't disappointed with the 21 from him. I don't expect him to. He's only young, but still frustrating when turnovers cost you 10 points.
Yeah.
I had Parker Jackson Cartwright as well, and I think that might have been it for that game. I was mucking around with my team, and I brought Henschel in during the week, and I wasn't going to bring Bannon in. And then
you brought Henschel in?
No, sorry, I brought Burke. I don't. He's just on my mind because he frustrates me so much, Henschel. But Bannon, wasn't going to bring Bannon in, but then I looked at the negative score of his break even, and he scored 62 this week.
Yeah, I was a bit worried you weren't going to bring him in.
Yes, but I that's when I was in my panic attack like you. I had a panic attack station last week. I wouldn't call mine a panic attack station. It was just a full rage of my ranking slipping outside the top 100. And I don't know why it did, but it just frustrated me. So I didn't even look at my team for 2 days. I ignored all fantasy-related messages. I was just steaming. So I'm glad I've had this week to kind of reassure me that I'm going okay.
I said to you yesterday, mate, the best in the world at whatever they do have bad days, bad weeks, so we can too. We'll go on to the next game, Sydney and Illawarra. Sydney absolutely belted them again. Interesting one. I know we don't have any Illawarra players in here, but Tyler Harvey scored 2 points, 2 Supercoach points.
He's one of them.
That's why we don't have him in
there. Yeah. Garrett Clark was pretty good.
He's a chronic one for those games, though, Tyler Harvey.
Yeah, he has a lot of bad games, doesn't he? You love him, Baz.
Yeah. He's a chucker, isn't he? He always seems to hit one game winner a year, though.
And that's the thing. You don't mind seeing him shoot the ball if I was an Illawarra fan because he looks confident with it.
Yeah, his Supercoach stats would be the best in the comp the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, they would.
Loves chasing a rebound down too.
Sam Fowling actually is starting to impress me after a pretty sloppy start to the year. His efficiency is still nowhere near where it needs to be as far as shooting the ball, but he's starting to get a lot more rebounds, and his pricing, if Illawarra get an attractive draw, could tempt me into getting him in.
Yeah, like it. He's they're not probably till late. I think around 16.
Yeah,
probably look at Illawarra. Guys have got a hell of a lot of singles. Is Jalen Adams the most consistent player in the comp, Supercoach wise?
He's the best player in the comp in any wise.
In any wise.
It's just amazing.
Know what the averages say.
He
hasn't scored below 30 yet. He had 38 in this one against Illawarra.
And it wasn't an awfully big game for him.
No, and that just seems to be what he does.
Yeah, it wasn't an awfully, obviously, there's 2 steals and 7 assists. If you're getting that out of him, you're very, very happy.
Yeah, he took 11 shots, but led their team in shots.
I had
he just finds a way.
I was happy.
Yeah, he does find a way, doesn't he? Thoughts on DJ Hogg, Baz?
Who was that one, sorry?
DJ Hogg?
Yeah, DJ Hogg, not too bad in his first game. He looked better yesterday when I watched him. Took a lot more shots and worked his way to a lot better and looked like he kind of got rid of that first few games coming back. So I thought he really impressed in the second game, but not really too much here. He's still pumped down at 20. Which I think
blew a layup. There was nearly
did he
at the end of the game? Did you not watch?
No, I didn't watch that one. I don't know what I was doing.
He blew a layup, and then it went into your long rebound, went into your man's hand, Shawnee Bruce, and he knocked down a 3.
Oh, in the second game.
The second game.
Yeah, sorry, I did watch that one yesterday. So we need to have a little bit more of a look at him. Do you think before we can pull a trigger there?
Yeah, I'd probably wait. Obviously, next week we got the singles, and then maybe after that, I'll just keep having a look. I just want to know, Derry, are you still riding the Alex Tui train, or are you off him yet?
No,
week, or what do you do?
No, I'm still riding the Alex Tui train.
Mm.
Yeah, he may be one I look at trading this week, but as far he was on the map to maybe go out, but Galloway obviously having that injury had to force him out of my side, and I was nervous how they would have to his minutes and his usage a little bit, because obviously Holly coming back in is a similar type of player, and they've got guys that demand shots even off the bench. Like Noy comes in and takes shot. Bruce, like I didn't know where he'd find his role, but in his first game he just had a solid all around game, like 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Like that's a good fantasy game, you know, like for a guy that you're not expecting to do much. So I was happy with him.
He seems to me like a guy that just fits in.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to run a hell of a lot for him. He can get a putback. They can run an A pick and roll for him. He can get a little backdoor cut. Like he's going to get a look at 10 points most nights, and then he's going to crash the glass. And
that's the thing. That's why I've kind of keeping him, because I know I'm going to get 100% effort, because obviously he's looking to impress bigger people than what are in Sydney. He wants to go NBA. So like, you know, you're going to get effort out of him. I was really shocked to see a 39 for his 2 games. So that gave me 20 points. And same with Harrison being on my bench, that gave me 30. So
yeah, it's huge.
My bench was really, really big for me this week.
Yeah. How's your bench getting along, Baz?
My bench is going better than my starters. So it's a bit of a tough question, isn't it? So yeah, tough one. But obviously your bench is where you end up. Most people have those gun guys. It's just who can top up those bench with some real nice pickups. So yeah, my bench obviously got Joshy Bannon on it, Norton, had a DMP, Saar, and Galloway, which was a bit of a nuffy one so far, but it's looking okay. It will get better with age.
Love it. Now let's go to the Saturday game. So you and I went to the Jackie's nightclub at Silverdome, Baz, and
was a good atmosphere in there.
Yeah, the best it's been.
I got told that by someone else too. I got told by my mate Salty that he said that place was absolutely rocking on Saturday night.
It's the best the dome has been for sure, and probably got the crowd, probably got the team over the line. It was a genuine stalemate there for a few minutes at the end of the fourth, wasn't it, Baz?
Yeah, it was. I was edge of our seat stuff from where we were in the bleachers, but not a bad seat in the house for us to watch Milton Doyle go to work. You and I made comment on we'll keep an eye on the Brisbane games, because how hard Milton Doyle had to work for those points was ridiculous. It showed, one, how good Doyle is to put up 24 with Sam McDaniel following him around like a
great dog, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Dog with a bone. He was all over him, holding him at halfway.
Yeah.
Doyle was catching the ball at the halfway line, trying to make it move.
Yeah.
So I reckon anyone that McDaniel goes to, it could be a bit like back in the AFL fantasy days, and you used to have Creepy Crowley going after blokes. So
well, now it's Finn McGuinness.
Yes.
The Finn tag. Yeah, absolutely.
So stay away from Brisbane matchups for captains, you reckon, Baz?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because McDaniel he was just locking them down. It was impressive.
I reckon it's the same with their offense. They're just gritty.
Yeah,
like they're a team built off not a hell of a lot of talent, but they play hard.
They're well coached, aren't they?
And Sobey is 34 and in the form of his life.
Yeah, he wasn't great this weekend, but as you know, Derry, better than anyone, people can have damn weeks.
That's right. Sobey, I actually thought he played pretty well on against Tassie. I thought he was. Yeah. I didn't think he was terrible.
Yeah,
he didn't shoot the ball as well as he. Yeah, Tyro Harris.
Tassie are hard to score against, like Super Coach was. Now, can we confirm if Tyro Harrison wears shin pads or not? Why? He's running the double socks up.
Well, whatever he's doing, keep doing it, big fella.
Yeah,
I'm happy with you. If you're wearing shin pads, you wear shin pads.
Super Coach Goat. We got a little sneaky snap with him outside.
Oh, Joshy Bannon. Oh, I've seen that picture actually.
Yeah, good.
Well, he wasn't super.
He was happy about it too, wasn't he?
Did you say something about him being fantasy?
Yeah, I told him he was the Super Coach Goat. He was pretty happy about it, wasn't he?
Well, he wasn't really on Saturday. He only had 8 and 8, but still got.
Yeah, but he had 25 points.
That's the thing with some players, like they can rack up scores for not doing much, and he is definitely one of them.
And he's also a guy that looks bloody good out there. Like he's just. If you throw a zone at Brisbane, he'll just catch and hit from the elbow. He's that good from the mid-range.
And it looks better than Kyle Bowen doing it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, one-handed Bowen. For Tassie, Doyle obviously scored pretty well.
Yeah, I had him on the bench.
This was the interesting one, though, for me. Jordan Crawford had 30 Supercoach points and shot 4 for 21.
But you don't lose points for efficiency.
No, you don't. But that if he hits another 5 shots out of that and shoots 40 to 45%, he's looking at 40.
He could be like a sneaky pump out a good score every now and again. I reckon you'll see his scores go up a little bit because he does a little bit of everything. A little bit similar to PJC, I think, but not quite on that level.
Milton Doyle's probably the only guy that's never really been on the trade table for me. Tassie have been fortunate to have a good fixture at the start of the year, but even with his single games, I've still, like I said, he's still on my bench. He gave me 14 this week, and he only had one game. This is where I'm happy that I've kept to my strategy and not traded out guys after bad performances. Just giving them another week because if you're too reactive, I think you can fall into a bit of a trap.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks for telling me that, Derek.
Hey?
Thanks for telling me that now, mate. I wish we heard that advice a few weeks ago.
Funny. Let's go to the next game and listen to this one on SEN on the way home, actually, on Saturday night, Perth and Adelaide. Bryce Cotton, do you know what he said in the post-game?
I'm back.
He said, it was good to have my first game. I don't know who the guy wearing my jersey was for the last 8 games.
Yeah, but if that's his best, I'm still not touching him.
He sounded like he was elite. Did you watch it, Baz?
Yeah, I watched it. They ran a lot more sets for him, wanted the ball in his hand a lot more. It was kind of like a fair bit got taken away from your old Ushers and fair bit got taken away from those other blokes. But yeah, definitely wanted to get him back and wanted to get him bulk shots. And yeah, it was pretty impressive to see. He did shoot 22 times, which is an absolute bucket load.
Yes.
Yeah, but obviously he got it done. He plays like super long minutes as well. Like, I guess sometimes you look at that job security stuff, like, he's got his starting gig, but if he's pumping out 37 minutes a night and you compare that to like, just say, Dasilovic in the same game who's a gun as well, he only played 32. So those extra 5 minutes, he could get an extra steal or 2 or assist or 2 and really boost his score up.
For me, as far as going away from fantasy, it's panic stations if you're Perth, I reckon, this season. If you're still relying on that from Cotton, like you need to get more out of your other guys like Doolittle and Pinder's been okay without setting the world on fire.
Do you want to talk about Doolittle as well, Baz?
Yeah, well, I mentioned it last week that I thought he could be a really good bench option at the 170. And in his first game, he got 20. And he tends to, I then went and did a bit of research, and he's not a big scorer. In all the comps he's played in, he hasn't really blown away on the scoring side of things, but he's always pitched in with a fair few rebounds. So I don't think he'll blow you away with huge scores of like 30, 35s, but I think he can be a consistent 20 to 25 point scorer for you on your bench if you're looking for a little bit of a cheaper option if you can't get up to players around the 220, 230 mark. You always
need a bit of budget in your team.
Yeah, well, it's probably getting to that time of year where you're really struggling to find guys who are going to make you cash. So you got to try and find those bargains.
How much
for sure?
Salary have you got to play with?
I've got 20K.
You've got 20K.
Yeah. As I said, Baz had the 8 rebounds. He had a couple of blocks to help him get to 19, which is huge. Played a hell of a lot of minutes. I think he probably stole an extra 5 or so minutes from Pinder, who really struggled with fouls in that one. He looked pretty good early. I was sort of, as I said, listening to it, and he had 4 points and 2 boards within the first minute and a half or so, and then a minute later he was on 2 fouls. So he sort of struggled with that all game, which probably helped Doolittle's cause. But I think you're right, around about that 170 to 190 mark. It could be a good option to be able to either drop someone down to or go sideways from on your bench.
One consistent option that Adelaide have had all year is, when I looked at this on Saturday night, I was quite intoxicated, and I thought Trey Kell had 7 L's in his last name. But I made sure I clicked on it. I thought, did he have a spasm when he was getting named? But it's Traquel the third. So I worked that out pretty quick, but he's been pretty good. Traquel.
He's actually got Adelaide's loss tally there at the end of his name.
It really spun me out. I'm like, that can't be real. But it was actually Traquel the third, so that's good.
That's pretty funny. He was elite by the sounds of it. What did he actually look like, Baz?
He was smooth. He made a lot of plays. He's kind of he stuffed the stat sheet with the 25 and 6. The guy I was impressed with though was Big Starling, who came on and suddenly turned the game at a plus minus of plus 22 midway through the game, or in like when they were going on their run. Finished with a plus minus of 11, but he came on for Wiley, who didn't come in after the second half. So again, you talk about those guys that are going to drop in price.
Was he injury watch, Wiley?
Yeah. Oh, well, Shizzy will get to that later about the injury reports, won't you? By the sounds of things.
Yes.
But Wiley having
a regular recovery.
Okay, he's already said.
I won't reveal my sources.
Okay.
Nothing else to talk about the Adelaide front?
No, not really.
No, Sunday Dets was crap again, Baz.
Oh, mate, that was the worst trade ever. That was terrible.
All right, let's go to the Sunday game. South East and Cairns. South East got up in that one. Mitch Creek was really, really good. Alan Williams was even better.
Yes, Alan Williams saved. We didn't really save. He would have got a score, needless to say, but he come through big for the people that put captain on him.
He gets double in the first half.
Yeah, he's a big man, old tools.
Yeah. Gary Brown was really good this round.
Jeez, he got popped. He even got on bleacher.
Highest score actually that we've had so far. No one's hit 80 yet, have they? Is that the highest round score?
He's up to for the round.
Yeah, he's up to 80.
Yeah.
PJ.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it might be close, might be PJC but I don't think he got to 80. But yeah,
he had 62 or whatever.
Yeah,
right, Baz.
So monster score.
I think with just getting on Cairns, I think with even though Taron with his turnovers, now that McCall and Miller under that injury cloud, although McCall came back, I think that he still has to be a bench option, doesn't he? For his price.
For sure. Definitely. Sobey had 83 in round 2. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I agree. We're all looking at Taron now, aren't we? My question is.
Yeah, I'm happy enough. I was impressed to see him score 12 points in the second game. That was something that I didn't quite expect out of him yet. Obviously, he's come back from a bit of an injury, and the passing may come with a bit more feel of the game. But he's definitely going to have to come in.
You know what is an interesting one? Bet365 had him for $2 for 4 assists in the first game. He had 1, then the second game he had none.
Yes.
Didn't even get 4 for the round.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, don't know. He did look like he was a bit more aggressive hunting for a shot. TJ McCall was an interesting one in his. I'll call it his first game back. He had 6 points in a game earlier, so he's going to drop a hell of a lot. And he's also going to be a guy that they're not going to drop his minutes. So he ended up 8 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, a block to get to 21, and he only shot 1 for 8 from the field.
He's a very enticing prospect.
Yeah, he shot 6 for 10 from the line. He's going to get to the line a hell of a lot, especially the way the refs are blowing the whistle at the moment.
Oh, God.
So it could be a downgrade. For Cairns and Wardenberg, did you guys watch that game yesterday?
Did not.
No, I watched like the back end of it, but it was pretty much over by the time I tuned in.
Yeah, did you say Wardenberg get hit in the nuts?
No, it didn't. But by the sounds of it, it's obviously really left a mark with you, mate.
Yeah, that's because I don't know if it's some people are saying groin, which would be just my luck if he's done his groin. So a bit of a watch this space. We won't know by the injury report though what's going on.
That would be unfortunate news.
Oh, wouldn't it ever? The other game, Sydney and New Zealand. Oh, look out. I've loaded a video.
New Zealand, PJC, good.
Yeah.
Did shoot well.
Struggle with the fouls again.
I think he's a hack. Like, I think he plays quite physical trying to steal, because that first game where he had 5, he's obviously not going to change the way he plays, hunting down the pill.
No, he wants them.
That way. Just,
Will McDowell White, interesting to see him coming off the bench.
yeah, I don't mind it.
He's such a watch this space sort of fella, McDowell White. Like, we've seen what he can do. It's bound to happen at some stage, I reckon, that he just turns that corner and starts pumping out heaps of assists, points, boards, or steals. I reckon he's one to watch. He's going to turn the corner soon, I reckon.
Yeah. It was like cotton. It was going to happen eventually, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what, Lamb was good. The commentators, they kept mentioning about, oh, he's still getting his legs under him and all this sort of stuff. And geez, they wrote it hard. And then obviously they were like, yeah, well, he missed the layup at the end and had a chance to obviously send it to OT and all that. And yeah, he was impressive though with the 29 points. And I'm intrigued to see they play the Jack Jumpers in a few weeks, and I'm intrigued to see who's going to match up with him, because he's kind of a pretty athletic, small forward, power forward sort of player. So tough matchup for some teams.
I admittedly probably was a bit harsh on Anthony Lamb. Hadn't checked the stats and just seen caught the end of the game, and he was chucking up shots, missed them all, missed foul shots. But to see that he actually probably kept his team in it with everyone else's shooting stats, he may have been a bit harsh on him.
Been there before. Maybe I'll still getting my legs under me. So his break even was 55, I think. It was low 50s, if not 55, which he didn't quite get. So he should actually drop it a little bit.
So they only played one game.
Did they play one? Play 2.
So,
he got 48 in the first game, so
yeah.
I think he may have probably cracked that 50.
What did he get in the first game? 24. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Forget that.
Do you want a bit of breaking news here, Hughes? Obviously, while we're doing the pod, the Melbourne-Perth game's going on.
Travers
got KO'd.
He's been knocked out.
47 seconds. I don't know whether that's the message I've got here.
He's on it too.
Says Travers KO, going to end up hurting my good Supercoach score, Cam. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you letting me know.
Well, it hasn't really hurt me too much. It's going to hurt some other teams waiting for their score.
Can't wait to keep Will Cummings for another week.
Hey, we can't keep Will Cummings. We can't do it anymore.
Travers was that's disappointing. No, it's took me from a really, really good score to now just maybe middle field again, but it's definitely hurt a lot of people worse. I won't be seeing people as many on the 400s as I thought I was going to.
Yeah, first minute KO.
Well, did Huck Porty get hurt too? Because he got subbed out in the same sequence.
I don't know, mate. Well, I've been on the pod with you, mate.
I thought there might have been more.
That's devastating.
Oh, it's rattled us.
It's like golf, isn't it, Baz? Yeah, one mate, it's happening. 8 shit things happen. You still think it's the best game in the world.
You know what's my Supercoach week's been a little bit like? You know, when we went to Thurston Golf Course, and there's that hole where you hit down the middle with the water on the side, and I lost 15 balls. That's kind of what's happened to me at the moment.
Yeah. And you know what he did then? He proceeded to sit his ball in between the 2 legs and go, "Oh, yeah, this is my second shot." Mate, you're on 15. And he don't count strokes that day.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was nothing more to add about New Zealand Sydney players.
No, all good.
No, righto.
Move on.
We'll move on. We'll just had a quick look at the Luke Travers situation. It looks like he's going to drop about 30 grand, so that's bloody awesome, isn't it? Yeah, good.
What do you do with him now?
Oh, he's got to trade.
Yeah. Mind you, I would have been better off trading a player who's going to play double than trading Jalen Galloway again. So I might just leave him there. Might be better off. Anyway, let's get into the Hustle Heroes.
Hustle hero for me is Tyrell Harrison. just ultra consistent, low ownership, hasn't been touched by many people on it. I seriously don't know why. Like, he's just been magnificent for me.
Yeah, it's been good.
I could have said Mitch Norton as well, but Tyrell Harrison, 60 on the bench.
Yeah.
Backing up Alan Williams. I got 166 points for my centres this week.
It's unreal, isn't it?
It is.
Genuine set day. Where are you, Baz?
I'm sticking with the Brisbane theme, and yeah, they're on my bench and they're cheap options, so it has to be Norton or Bannon for the Hustle Heroes.
Bannon was on your bench.
Yeah, well, this is dumb. This is poor organisation from me.
Travis was on your field.
Can we not talk about it?
No, we would. I'll try to.
Travis was on your call.
I'll try to.
I didn't.
I'll try to get you.
Thursday night, I'm rushed.
That's made me feel so much better.
But he's
I rushed on Thursday night.
No, it's not.
I was just I just had to try and wrap that through my head because that's an interesting one.
You know what I see now? We're going to show up to the pod next week when Baz is ahead of me on the rankings.
So he's got a -2 and then 62 sitting on the bench. That's tough.
I'd hate to see what my score would look like with. I just don't want to talk about it. Can we move on?
Yeah, we're moving on.
Yeah, right. Well, mine as well was Josh Bannon, super coach goat. I was a bit disappointed I didn't bring him in last week, but anyway, we've spoken enough about him. The Brick Boy, Derry.
Brick Boy, Ben Henshaw.
Bencho.
Every week.
Just right.
Every week.
I don't know how I can consistently pumping out okay scores with a donut. It's finally coming to an end.
Because you haven't wasted a trade on him. You've traded to improve your team, and you don't get a hell of a lot out of your bench guys typically anyway. Well, you do, but
I've been pretty lucky. My team has somehow got away with week after week, somehow finding a way to be good with the schedule, even though it's not really my strong point, that whole thing.
I think. Baz?
Well, mine's the Silverdome rings. The nets they seem to put up at the Silverdome. Like blokes just can't make threes on them. So I'd hate to see if Will Cummings came down to Silverdome, what would happen to him? Because he's my other Brick Boy. So if I can't have the Silverdome rings, I'll have Will Cummings. And you'll never guess where Will Cummings was on my Supercoach team. He's starting. So I've got bloody 11 on my field.
No, poor Baz.
And you had Norton on the bench, let me guess.
Norton on the bench, yeah.
Oh, no.
I was that confident.
That's just unlucky.
I was that confident in Norton. I started him over Doyle.
Yeah,
that's how confident.
That's fair. But Cummings had 2 games.
Hey,
Cummings had 2 games.
Yeah, but I've never liked him.
He's been pretty solid for us, hasn't he, Baz? We've had him heroes a couple of times, I think.
I've got beef with him now, though. He's done. He's on my do not trade in ever again. That's it.
It's like that multi list that everyone's got.
Yeah.
They see their name, no matter how advertising it is, you just stay away from it.
Yeah, Lockie Whitfield.
Because they've caused you too much pain.
Yeah. I'll step further than you, Baz. I had Will Cummings and then I had Mike Kelly and the South East Melbourne staff. But now it's the NBL injury report. So it was a game time decision for their first game. They released that he was playing. I thought, right, beauty. I'll trade Galloway. If you're listed that you're good to go and you've got a double, surely they don't go after the first game, oh, yeah, he's out for the second game. What a load of shit.
The whole thing, one thing I don't like about the NBL Supercoach, how it's structured, is it's just a complete lockout. There's no rolling lockout. So you can't, like in BBL, you can actually make trades during the round. Whereas in NBL, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I've never done that.
Yeah,
I didn't think you could.
It's like the guys that play on Thursday night, they're locked out, which obviously limits your options a fair bit around what you can do, especially if there's a couple of games on a Thursday.
The NBL is a little bit harder with your trades, and I can see why it'd be frustrating with that injury report, like him playing the first game and then the second game is obviously.
I thought, he'll get about 40 maybe. He got me 11.
And you started him too?
Started him, yeah, because of the double. But I could have, if I traded him instead of Galloway, left Galloway sitting there and who'd I bring in? I can't remember who I bring in. brought in. Can't even speak now.
You're aged up, aren't you?
Oh, I'm not happy. I did bring in Kinder and Bannon, so those two have been pretty good. But I would have traded out Huckporty and Cummings instead of Huckporty and Galloway.
You could have looked at maybe someone like Jalen Adams.
Yeah, well, I could have. Yeah,
You could
I
have.
would have been looking at.
Possibilities were endless.
Yeah, I would have been looking a hell of a lot more than now I am. But anyway, the transparency of the NBL injury report is horrible. It should be all teams have to have theirs in for the round on the Wednesday night, and then everyone knows where they're at. Fan engagement is such a big thing around the growth of the NBL, and super coaches going along for that ride. You've got to get that right, I reckon. You can't.
It's pretty unprofessional.
Yeah, you can't have teams that are playing like Melbourne play their first game for the round today, and so they didn't have to have their squad released until last night. Like that's just bullshit.
That is.
I think the hardest thing with the injury report is that guys just come out of nowhere in their game time decisions. Like PJC the other day, we had like no news, no information, and then all of a sudden you're getting, like not long before tip, it's a game time decision. Well, kind of let us know, a little bit earlier, and like same with like Patrick Miller. It took us forever to find out whether he was playing or not. There were so many reports on
that one was one that stumped me because like I said, he was one that I was thinking about bringing in, and I had no news to say that he was going to be out.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know. I was kind of blind by it, so I was lucky that I just didn't do it.
Cairns are one of the better teams with releasing their injuries. They've been pretty good, but some of these teams are just horrendous.
Yeah,
well, Will Magnay, when's he back?
Next week.
I don't trust it.
Dead set back next week.
I don't trust it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I trust it. Who was I talking to? Someone spoke to him at the Jackies game and asked when he was back, and he said next week.
Hughesy's got the scoop.
So that's straight from the horse's mouth.
Reliable sources.
Yeah, we got him. Anyway, let's move on to trades. I kind of had a bit of a play around and wrote down some players that I was interested in, and then tried to go to work a little bit. So obviously, without knowing where players are sitting in terms of their price, it's really bloody difficult. But some guys that I just listed down were Will McDowell-White, Anthony Lamb, Christian Doolittle, Taron Armstrong, Bull Quayle, and I've had DJ Vasiljevic as well because they've got a double coming up when I think there's only 2 teams that have a double. So I was sort of looking at maybe I can get him. But at this stage, I think I'll probably use a boost because I don't want to miss out on Anthony Lamb. So I've got Cummings, Golding, and Ulbrich, which we'll probably have to change Golding to Travers now. To Will McDowell, I can't speak. I'm rattled. Will McDowell-White, Anthony Lamb, Taron Armstrong.
Yeah,
I'll still be okay to do that.
I've still only doing 2 trades, but it will be an Armstrong in, and now will more than likely be Travers out with the prospect of maybe an Anthony Lamb and or maybe Will McDowell-White too, depending on my salary and whatnot. But I might lose a bit of money on that trade with Henschel and Armstrong, which is unfortunate, but it's just something that's going to have to happen.
Yeah,
can't be giving up points. And what if I want to improve my ranking? I need scores out of everyone, even if it's only 4 or 5. Yeah. It's better than 0.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Baz? You had to think about trades yet?
Yeah, well, I got 97K sitting in the salary there, which is handy for
my number. About 80 I've got sitting there. So
so I'll obviously go Cummings out. See what this news is with Travers. But he may sit on my bench. Apparently he slipped over and his head hit Hookporty's knee. So by the sounds of that, not too great. But then I'll go Cummings out and
turn the ball over.
That must be in the same play.
So he scored -2.
And he's fouled. He fouled too.
Fouled Hookporty's knee while turning it over.
Hookporty would have very solid knees, I would imagine.
Didn't he do his ACL last year?
There might be a metal brace in there.
Yeah, maybe. So who are you thinking about? Sorry.
I'll go Cummings out. That's a no-brainer. And then I'll just play around with the other ones. It'd be nice if I traded out Travers, I'd probably move Wardenberg back, and I'd definitely have enough cash to get in Alan Williams. So that could be one. That'd give me, not too bad. But yeah, it all depends. Yeah, if Patrick Miller's back, hopefully that'll help.
Yep.
But if not, I think I'm going okay. I just got to put the right guys on the field. That's probably the big thing.
I love that now that Alan Williams is in my team, because if he plays a single game, he's still nearly going to be better than a lot of starting centres in doubles.
That's what you were saying, Baz, last week. There was only 4 centres that outscored him last week.
You can just forget it. You can just have it there. And if there is a week where you want to put a double centre, he's still a great bench option if you want to maybe try and outscore him. But there won't be too many weeks where he gets outscored by that many guys.
No.
Well,
he's guaranteed double-double.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a look this week. If you look at the centres categories at the moment, he's leagues ahead. But then the other guys, the other one was Geordie Hunter. He played a double. He only got 38. Mango, he got 37. He played a double. Froling played the single and he got 34. So
Harrison had 60. So that's
here comes Pinder.
Hey,
here comes Pinder. He's on 42 at the moment.
In the first, this is his second game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Definitely.
Doolittle's on 14 as well. He's smashing it.
Your man. Imagine if Wardenberger has done his groin. We've got him, Travers, and Cummings to deal with. I'm still going to have Golding sitting there.
Him, who? Sorry,
Wardenberg, Travers, and Cummings. Imagine if you got all 3 of them, like I do. You got all 3 as well, don't you, Baz?
And Miller.
I've got one of them.
Yeah,
I've got Travers, who was always coming out anyway. So it's
you just lose a lot of cash on it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so I'm hoping that next week my lineup can be Pinder, Lamb, Wardenberg, PJC, Will McDowell, White, and then Bannon, Klinman, Saar, Golding, and Armstrong on the bench. Would be pretty happy with that, I think. But let's get into some questions. We did have a couple. As we know, the Taipans have 1 million double game weeks in a row. Do we, however, have concerns about the ceilings of their players once everyone is healthy and back in the rotation? Maybe need to rethink how we stack our teams. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not going to go overboard. Hence why I left Wardenberg out. I didn't jump on that train. I think I've got Clintman as a guy that will stay in, but he will eventually go for me. I like that question there. The ceiling probably isn't unbelievable for him. He's going to struggle with a bit of consistency, I feel. That's one thing that I'll keep an eye on. So, yeah, I haven't really gone too hard on the Cairns players. I'm more looking hard to go on the Breakers. I think they are a team with full of potential.
Yeah. So what do you think the maximum amount of Taipans you can have is?
I think
we spoke.
Go, Baz.
I think we spoke about last week. I think it's really 3. I think if you end up with more than 3, then by the time their buys end, if you've got 3 New Zealand and 3 Cairns, then you're going to be shot for about 3-4 weeks to try and end up evening your team back out again. So, yeah, I think you just aim for about 3.
Yeah. I don't know if this week was just a classic week of a bit of exhaustion, a bit of fatigue finally kicked in, because they have had some big travels, a lot of games and whatever, but they were pretty average this week.
Well, their first game in New Zealand normally play in Auckland. There's a direct flight from Cairns to there, but they played in Christchurch, which says no direct flight. They got delayed. They got in at 1:15 or 2:15
on game day,
in the morning of game day. So that obviously throws you out straight away, which hurts.
It's just that's the one thing with like these smaller leagues. Like you look at the travel in NBA, every team's got private jets. Every players have got private jets, and then there's like the travel for someone like a Cairns who's in the northernmost part of Australia. There's barely direct flights. So when half of the cities in the league, it's just it'd be torture. It'd be absolute torture.
Oh, it'd be no good, would it? Yeah,
it's so fun when like you talk about that. Like in the NBA, like you hear that blokes like sometimes we're like, oh, you got 2 games in 1 week, and then you look in the NBA, they'll go from like one place, 3-hour flight, play the next night, get nut off, travel another 4 hours or whatever. Like, yeah, but as you said, like they're not getting on a domestic flight with 60 other random people.
That's right, and you don't exactly have like the the medical staff as the NBA. Like it's all another step up, and
That's why the injury report's no good.
Yeah,
That's Peter White.
That's funny though. I always feel bad, and I really do, because like, as all three of us, we take our team so seriously, and I haven't really had one thing ultimately go against me really at the minute, like that's really made me like fall off a cliff. You know what I mean?
You were pretty down last week.
I was very down, like I was very, very down, but I looked at it and my team was still in good shape, and I've come back pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was very angry at myself for like thinking, just giving up so easy. Like I was willing just to throw in the towel. And if I had had the injuries and the bloody suspensions and shit you blokes have had, I probably would have jumped off the Spirit of Tasmania by now.
I'm already thinking about how excited I am for next season. I'm already looking at who the imports might be for next season. I can get on.
Do you think we answered our mate's question there?
Yeah, I'm going to add one. Dan's are actually the lowest scoring overall team, as in Supercoach points per game. So I think you do have to tread carefully in terms of loading up on Cairns players for that reason. And then, I mean, obviously part of it is because they've been down on bodies. I think they can lift a little bit. But
Miller being out's hurt that average, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. They didn't score very well this week. But if then you're balancing the minutes between Miller, Armstrong and McCall having the ball in their hands. It could be an interesting dynamic. I think Armstrong's probably too hard to pass up on. If you've got Miller already, stay with him and sort of watch it. McCall, you probably, with what his break even is, what it's going to be for next week, you can afford to have a bit of a look at him as well.
Waterberg's comfortably the best rebounder on their team, so he's always probably going to look at your 20s.
Yeah, he's a solid for a 20, but see how he bounces back from his hitting the deck. Another one is Anthony Lamb, a cheat code in the NBL.
Well, he went missing when the game was on the line, but he's pretty bloody good.
Yeah.
He's I agree. I watched that game where he put up the 29. He looks smooth. He can play. He's an NBA talent too. So you're probably just waiting for him. Like, he could feast on a team like Illawarra. He could feast on a few of those average teams. I reckon he could go big.
Yeah, definitely. He kind of the NBL over the years have had a lot of players of that sort of, not ilk, but like guys who are too big to play on the perimeter in the NBL, but they're also too fast for bigger guys. I'll give you some recent names that obviously aren't at the Anthony Lamb level, but a guy like a Rashad Kelly, a Lamar Patterson, like guys like that who are like solid.
He's just a better shooter.
Yeah, and he's a lot quicker than those guys, but you get what I mean in terms of that sort of positional sort of thing. He's definitely a level above, and with the way that they played in their 2 games on the weekend, I don't think they'll be in a ridiculous rush to try and fill the other import spot. I thought they looked pretty good with him playing that spot, and then you've obviously got PJC and Will McDowell-White that's going to come along. I think it sort of probably helps with the balance with Finn Delaney a little bit as well.
He's looked good recently. Yeah,
so cheat code. I'm going to say not a cheat code, but
he's definitely coming into my team.
Yeah, I'm willing to use my 3rd boost to get him.
Yeah,
just because of my
good schedule, good point scorer. Yeah, like good actual point scorer. Yeah, and then if you get rebounds and an assist or something out of him, it's just
get a couple of points as well. Yeah, I'll stop having panic attacks after a bad round.
How do you stop having panic attacks after a bad round?
Put it in perspective.
Because I was that was my question, and I was fucking pissed off. It was my first bad one. It was the first time my ranking had gone down, and I was livid, absolutely livid.
I think for next year, I won't really look to worry about my team too much for round 1, but more set it up for the couple of rounds after. I thought that's what you did a pretty good job of.
It wasn't deliberate.
No,
it was just
tell people it was.
It was just the whole aspect of, I guess I wasn't too much into the media of guys. I've gone with guys that have been good for a while, I know a bit about. So I was I started with a lot of your younger guys, like your Galloways, your Tuies, your Huckporties that are going to give maximum effort, because they're looking to play for something further. Yeah. Whereas there's some guys that can fall into just a habit of consistency. Yeah, that was more my mindset, but
don't mind it. I think we answered this one, but what to do with Pat Miller? Do you think his minutes will be less with McCall and Armstrong?
I don't think it will be less.
No, I don't think it will. I think that when he played in those games, he looked like your import's the one you pay your money to win your games. So as much as there's no way he's going to drop around like the 20-minute mark. I think he's always going to be around the 30 minutes. They'll find a spot for him. You don't pay. Yeah, you don't pay him the big money to sit on the pine, especially when old mate's got biceps on biceps and quads on quads. So you want those sort of guys out there, I think.
Yeah. Lives at the free throw line and he's a killer at the death as well. So
I like him as far as cans. I think he's one obviously that I didn't get this week. Like I said, if things had gone the other way, I could have had him and I could have scored 0 because I didn't know the injury crisis that they had up there. But yeah, good player.
Yes. Do you play an average player for 2 games over a gun for 1? What do you think, Cam?
That was my question, and the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Don't even think about it. Like, you've just got to do it. Travis for 1 game, Bannon for 2. You take Bannon any day of the week. Don't fall into my trip. It's pretty
that is for everyone.
No.
I don't think that is for everyone.
I don't think it's that black and white.
No, it's not. I don't think it's that black and white. There could be a guy on your bench that you've downgraded for cash purposes. Say, let's say, for instance, if Baz did bring in Junior Madut and he had 2 games, you wouldn't play him over someone.
Nah, shit.
You know what I mean? Like, there is levels to it. It is the most tantalising thing, the double, and it can cause mistakes in your team. But I guess it's sometimes you just got to go with your gut. Like, honestly, Bannon wasn't in for me. Clintman wasn't. Sorry, Clintman wasn't. I had Travis, and I thought, like, he still can get 40. Like, you've got to be realistic about it. And then I'm surprised with Bannon. I haven't watched much of him to see him whip out a double-double. And then
he's in the blitz.
Yeah,
I wanted to start with him.
I haven't seen a hell of a lot of him. So,
you said trust Derry. I would have gut-ached, mate, from the decisions I made this week.
No, do you have Ian Clark as well? He's gone down with a leg injury.
No, I don't have Ian Clark.
Chris Golding suck.
Chris Golding's going to have to shoot the ball tonight.
Yeah. And what the hell was Pinder only played 9.5 minutes still halfway through nearly the end of the second quarter.
Did he run into a hook Porty's knees too?
Probably. We had another question here. Not a Supercoach related question, but a good question. Brisbane looking strong. Do we think they can make a push for the top 4?
I had him in the 6.
You did have him in the 6.
It was interesting watching, listening to the commentators talk about it, and they kind of mentioned that they've got guys in there that know how to win. Yeah, they've got Short, he knows how to win. They've got Bainesy, he knows how to win. They've recruited those guys for that reason.
Mitch Norton.
Yeah. So I think that they'll certainly win their fair share of games away, whereas like those inexperienced teams struggle with away games and don't tend to get the wins unless they're at home. So I think they could steal a few games on the road, which could really project them. The one thing that we haven't spoke about yet, Hughes, is the big men that play for Brisbane, big banger Baines, who goes key to key, and then obviously shin pads. So if a team has a centre against those guys, they've got pretty good coverage. So if you're like, say, Alan Williams, you're playing Cairns, you're probably going to feast. But if you play Brisbane, you're probably not going to have as good a time against teams that have legitimate centres. So it'll be interesting watching the centre matchups against Brisbane.
Yeah,
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because they've got a block presence in Harrison, and then they also bring, although he hasn't played as many minutes lately, but Rocco Sikarski, he's also, when he gets on there, no matter his size, whatever limits him. If he's in your way, he's a hard person to get over the top of. Like he's 7'3", he's 7'4", he's a block presence. And then they've got Baines, who's not the athletic block presence, but he's far out his physical. He's a very knows how to work his body, and that is going to be a thing that a lot of, like you said, these younger teams will struggle with.
He's no match for Jared Bairstow, though, is he, Baz?
Hey, big Bairstow. The man of the people.
I'd seen back the stats in that game. It wasn't awesome.
Nah, Bairstow destroyed him once he actually got on there. Initially with the score, he wasn't on it.
Oh.
He brought the crowd involved too.
Hey?
He brought the crowd. That's what Bairstow did. Just rocked out, brought the crowd, got the 6
disco. Rightio, so that's it for our questions. I think top 6. I don't think they'll quite make top 4. We'll go on to my captain picks for the week. So I've obviously haven't been able to do full analysis on the Perth guys, which would be Cotton and Pinder, and then Joe Luala-Chul for Melbourne. But this is what I've got at the moment in order of 3rd to 1st. So I've got DJ Hogue at number 3. So this week he plays against Brisbane at home. Sydney are the highest scoring team in the comp, and he has added to that since he's been back. So if you think about the forwards at Brisbane, he's not going to have the Sam McDaniel go to him that other teams, stronger players in the guards probably would. So you'd think Sam McDaniel's going to Jalen Adams. So that would free up Hogue for some of the for some extra shots, and he was really looking for a shot, particularly in the second game this week. Number 2, I've got PJC. They are playing against Perth in Perth. Perth are another team that get up and down. I think that style will really suit PJC because he's the fastest bloke I've ever seen on a basketball court.
Steals.
Yep. Perth actually don't turn the ball over a hell of a lot in terms of like from dribble. They turn it a lot from pass. So he might struggle a little bit in that department, but I think that might help him not probably foul as much if he knows that he can get skills in other ways.
If they're sealing it on the run, on the fast break is hard to stop downhill.
Yeah, definitely. And the Perth big guys foul a hell of a lot as well. So I think he can really get to the line. And then number 1, I had Alan Williams as well. So they've got Melbourne in the showdown. So a couple of things with Sauce that really impressed me. He's obviously had a few easier matchups, struggled with fouls against Brisbane. I think he probably adjusted to that. There was a couple of those fouls that he got that were offensive. I think he probably tidied that up a little bit.
I turned that game off though.
He has 27 foul shots in the first quarter.
It was impossible to watch.
I sat through
Hard to watch.
Oh, it's hard to watch.
I didn't actually put into the equation the status of Huck Porty either. But even with that foul trouble, he's still got to high 20s. So I've got him sitting at number 1. So Hogue, PJC, and Williams. If you got any of those 3 guys, probably can't go too wrong.
With every single game this week, the top 2 for me are the same. Williams and PJC. That'll be the 2 that I think of putting the C on. Yeah. Probably go to Williams for some reason. I just like captaining big guys a little bit better than
more of a double threat, aren't they?
And they're just rebounders been worth 2 and assists been worth 1. Like it's
other way around.
Is it the other way around? Well, that makes sense.
How are you dominating?
Hey,
how are you dominating?
I thought a rebound was 2.
Nah, just 1.
That's probably fair though.
Yeah, that's why his centers are killing it. Darius getting double points on boards. That's why he's ahead of us.
Spot on.
I'm happy with that.
Rightio. If you got any questions, hit us up through the week. We'll get the tiers of toughness out, and people can have a look at that to set their trades up for the week. But yeah, all the best, and hope you enjoyed the round that was.
Easy.
I did. Bye.
Bye now.